Once worshipped as the Fey goddess of sleep, the Nightweaver has become twisted, transformed, and terrifying, haunting the nightmares of the Dran, feeding off their very life essence, leaving them drained and near death. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and today we're wrapping up some loose ends and diving into Losomn to uncover the secrets of the Nightweaver. As you guys know, Losomn content isn't new, but our goal has always been to bring you complete coverage of Remnant 2, which is why we're releasing this video, so that new players have all the tools they need to be successful. To kick things off, we need to start at the epicenter of everything, the Nightweaver. As you most likely know at this point, she is a world boss, which means you'll have to fight her at the end of the Morrow Parish storyline. Truth be told, this is one of the more challenging world boss fights in the game, and although her mechanics are rather straightforward, they're well designed, and designed to be off-putting, which takes some time to adjust to. There are two ways to approach every world boss. The first is the standard way, and in the case of the Nightweaver, it's straightforward, simply defeating her without breaking open her heart. If you're relatively new to the game or not great at hitting weak spots, then this shouldn't be an issue. Defeat the Nightweaver in the courtyard and then finish her off inside the asylum, and you'll be rewarded with the Cursed Dream Silks, a crafting material used to create the community favorite long gun, Nightfall. As I mentioned, there is another way to approach this fight. However, it all hinges on how much damage you do to the Nightweaver's heart. Your goal is to shatter the heart, and that means doing enough weak spot damage until it explodes. This is most easily accomplished when the boss is channeling her ability to spawn beetles. During these few seconds, her heart is exposed and easy to attack, and if you're patient and wait for those opportunities, you can easily destroy the heart, triggering her alternate form. Once you break the heart, it's business as usual. Defeat the boss, but be prepared for a much more aggressive Nightweaver. She'll employ a lot more melee attacks and will give you far less breathing room for the rest of the encounter. Keep in mind, if she manages to knock you down and drain a portion of your health during the second phase of the fight, she will recover her heart and you'll be forced to break it again. If you manage to destroy her heart and then defeat her, you'll be rewarded with the crafting material Nightweaver's Finger, which can be turned into McCabe for Nightshade, a pair of excellent melee claws that have a really unique mod power. We actually talk about these weapons in our 5 melee weapons you don't want to miss video, so go check that out. Regardless of what Nightweaver form you defeat, don't forget to head back to the nearby Worldstone before exiting the area. There on the ground is the Alumni Ring, which increases all elemental damage by 10%, a deadly effective piece of jewelry you can weave into a good number of builds. With the Nightweaver dead, we can focus on a great many other secrets, all tangled up in her web of deception. Inside the Morrow Sanatorium, a number of secret items are within reach if you know where to look and have the keys to unlock them. Let's start in the basement, creepy as that might be. Down the stairs, turn right, and then you can enter the first room on the right, and inside, you'll notice a crack in the wall that you can squeeze into. Inside is an item, the Shock Device Amulet, which increases shock damage by 20% and overload damage by 50%. If you're a fan of the Enigma weapon or any sort of shock-based build, this is a must-have item. Also, in the basement, you'll run into a mysterious woman trapped behind a locked door. She holds the secret to obtaining the double-barrel handgun, a secret weapon locked in a safe on the main floor. Lucky for you, we have a separate video walking you through that step-by-step, so we can actually save a few minutes here. Long story short, by giving her 3 stone dolls, she sings the code to the safe upstairs, which you can use to unlock and claim the prize. What you really need, however, is the prison cell key on the 3rd floor. To gain access to the 3rd floor, you'll need to defeat the aberration outside at the wooden hut. Kill him, and inside the building is the 3rd floor key. Use that to unlock the door upstairs and make your way to this window. Jump outside and scoop up the prison cell key. An important note, only unlock the door in the cell in the basement once you've obtained the double barrel, as once you open the door, you won't be able to interact with the mysterious voice anymore. Inside is the Nightweaver Stone Doll, something you'll need for another secret, and also one of the solutions to the Spark secret as part of the new DLC, The Dark Horizon. We have a full video breaking down Spark's questline already on the channel, so check that out as well. At this point in time, we're leaving the sanatorium proper and heading into the Dreamweaver's realm, the Tormented Asylum, which is only accessible once you obtain the Soul Key Tribute as part of the main quest. You can access this even after the boss is dead, so it doesn't really matter what you do first, these secrets or kill the boss. Inside the Tormented Asylum, you'll head into the first open room on the left-hand side of the hallway. Inside will be the Nightweaver's web, which you can use to sacrifice items. No matter what quest item you sacrifice, the item will be destroyed, sometimes rewarding you in the process, and sometimes rewarding you with special secret items. The Nightweaver stone doll you picked up is the first item you'll want to sacrifice, as it rewards you with the Dreamcatcher, an item we have showcased a number of times on the channel, but more on that later. There are actually 5 other items you can sacrifice to the web for additional prizes, so let's quickly walk through those. First is the Override Pin, which you can pick up in the Abandoned Tower on either the first or second Narude overworlds, and not dependent on which world boss storyline you have. The tower will be in a different location for each player, but your map should look roughly like this. Keep in mind, because this is in a different world, you can only do this within campaign mode, which means you have to get lucky and roll Narude, as well as the Morrow Parish, which is the Nightweaver storyline in Losomn. Sacrificing the Override Pin to the web and you'll receive the Tormented Heart, a relic that grants an innate 20% use speed bonus. On use, it also deals 240 explosive damage to enemies within 10 meters, and life steals 25% of the damage dealt. Next is the Ravenous Medallion, which is found within the Great Hall dungeon in Losomn. The only way to access this tile set while in the Nightweaver storyline is by finding the dungeon entrance in the Nightweaver's hunting ground. This is a rare spawn and far into your playthrough, so be prepared to re-roll your campaign or adventure mode. If you manage to have the Great Hall spawn, realize that you have one of 2 choices. You can use the medallion to scoop up a number of rewards by doing the Feastmaster's event, or you can sacrifice the medallion to the Nightweaver's web. If you've never completed the Great Hall, here's a quick rundown of all the rewards. You get the Neckbone Necklace by completing the Ravenous event and speaking to the Feastmaster. If you take the Dumbwaiter on the back left wall, you can travel down to a small room and pick up the Bone Chopper Axe. If you walk through the fire and the flames within the Great Hall, you'll find the Feastmaster's Signet Ring tucked away in a corner. And if you attempt to resurrect an ally in co-op during the feast, you'll actually bite and kill them, but unlock the Glutton trait, which increases the speed of consumables and relics up to 30%. It's not a bad smattering of rewards, but if you keep the medallion and never unlock the Great Hall and sacrifice the medallion to the Nightweaver's web, you gain the Decrepit Rune crafting material, which you can turn into Namwe for the secret Rune Pistol handgun, which might be one of the most powerful handguns in the game, depending on your build, of course. As part of the Awakened King DLC, if you have the Memoriam Medallion key, obtained after defeating the Aberration Wraith Liege in the Path of the Fallen dungeon, you can insert that into the Nightweaver's web to claim the Bitter Memento. This sets 1% of the wearer's max health to gray health, and using a skill will cost you 33.5% of your health as gray health. Still, there are 2 more items to sacrifice. First is Dria's Anklet, which can be found in the Harvester's Reach dungeon. If you kill the Aberration Barghest the Vile, you'll obtain the necessary item. If you return it to Rywin at the start of the dungeon, you'll be rewarded with the Ring of Grace, which is an okay survivability item. But sacrifice it to the Nightweaver's web instead, and you'll unlock the Ring of Retribution, which buffs your reload speed and damage output by 10% for 15 seconds after taking damage. Finally, there's Kolket's Razor, which can only be found in the Lament dungeon on Yeisha. Yes, another situation where you can only unlock this secret in campaign mode. Not only do you have to have the Nightweaver storyline, but you also need to have the Lament dungeon on Yeisha, and yes, you are at the mercy of the RNG gods yet again. To be fair, the Lament is an awesome dungeon and rewards some insane gear, so if you haven't checked it out already, go take a look at our video already up on the channel. But if you keep Kolket's Razor and sacrifice it to the Nightweaver's web, you'll unlock the Nightweaver's Grudge. This amulet grants 20% crit chance and haste when within range of anything suffering from a status effect, which is deadly with a ritualist build. So that's the Nightweaver's web, but that first reward, the Dreamcatcher, well, you better believe there's more to that than meets the eye. Apart from being an awesome melee weapon, you can actually use the Dreamcatcher to extract items from certain NPCs, giving you access to their dream realm and powerful items and archetypes. You can use the Dreamcatcher on the Huntress only when she's sleeping under the arch in Briella's garden. Smash the item you extract and you'll be allowed to fight her in an alternate way in the Dream Realm. By defeating her, you'll be rewarded with the Sacred Hunt Feather, which you can turn into the weapon mod Familiar, perfect for anyone building a summoner. Note, you can fight the Huntress again outside of the Dream Realm, scooping up the Venerated Spearhead crafting material in the process. If you use the Dreamcatcher on Namwe while she's sleeping, you'll gain access to her dream realm. Once inside, keep running straight until you see a teal glow on the horizon. This is actually an item, the enemy's Echo, which you can turn into one of the most powerful bows in the game, the Crescent Moon. Our build guide called the Cyber Ranger features this at the center, so check that out if you want to take full advantage of an awesome loadout. Finally, you can use the Dreamcatcher to unlock the Invader archetype. Legacy Gaming was actually one of the first channels to make a video showcasing this secret, so if you are new to the game and haven't done so already, go check out that video. There's one more secret loosely associated with the Nightweaver, and we felt it was important to include because who knows when we'd get a chance to talk about it again. Within Morrow Parish is the Oracle of the Dran, a muted old woman that uses blind orphans as vassals to channel her thoughts into words. You can't speak with her until you find both lost Oracle children, so keep an eye out. No pun intended. Once you find both of them, you can speak to the Oracle and she'll reward you with the Recovery trait. However, this is just the beginning of her secrets. In front of the Oracle is a massive patchwork quilt, and as you defeat bosses and solve secrets in Losomn, this will begin to fill in. After completing 12 challenges, you're rewarded with the All-Seeing Eye, which is an infinite use consumable that grants the user one random buff or debuff. Kind of strange, but also kind of awesome. The 12 challenges in question required to complete the patchwork quilt are completing the Postulate Parlor chess event. To do this, you'll need to connect 3 of your pieces in a row to trigger the event completion, but that also rewards you with the Royal Bow ranged weapon. Additionally, you can pick up the Fey Royal Armor by unlocking the door in the top right by moving one of your chess pieces to that location and then walking away before the game resets. Similarly, you can send a piece to the bottom left, opening up a door on the other side of the area. However, you need a co-op partner to walk inside the room, then you move the piece, locking the door behind them, but opening up a second door inside, giving you access to the Game Master's Pride Ring. A bit convoluted, but well worth the mind bender. The next secret is easy, defeating the Nightweaver. After that, we have returning the amulet in Harvester's Reach to Raiwen after defeating the aberration Barghest the Vile. Then there's defeating the Bloat King in the Great Sewers. Of course, defeating Magister Dulain in the Shattered Gallery also fills in one of the squares. Correctly identifying the assassin within the Fey Council is another one. Then there's solving the challenge of the Wisp in Tiller's Rest. To do this, you simply need to expose it to the light towards the beginning of the dungeon. Of course, defeating Gwendol the Unburnt fills one of the tiles in. Defeating both Fei Lin and Fei Rin, the alternate fight in the Palace Courtyard storyline. Completing the feast event we talked about before. Defeating the Red Prince. And finally, completing the burning event in the Butcher's Quarters. You can actually do this multiple ways. By killing all the enemies and saving the Dran, you'll be rewarded with the Dran Memento Ring. If you allow the mob to burn the Dran, you'll unlock the Shadeskin trait. Additionally, if you touch the checkpoint in this area after the event, you'll notice a pig eating a burned corpse. Kill it and you'll pick up the Singed Ring, great if you're going for a fire build. If you do all 12 of those things over the course of your adventure and campaign modes, you'll be able to unlock all of the secrets of the Oracle of the Dran. It's an exhausting amount of work, but Losomn holds some of the coolest secrets in all of Remnant 2, and now you know exactly how to find each and every one, at least those tied to the Nightweaver. Guys, again, we figured it was time to go back and wrap up loose ends via our secret series, since the release of The Dark Horizon marks the end of Remnant 2's planned DLC content. We have had a blast covering this game and just wanted to make sure we got a few more guides out there for any new players jumping in for the first time. If you still appreciate all the work that goes into creating these videos, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, and consider subscribing. It means a lot and goes a long way to helping out the channel. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.